Let me throw this at you. Say a few months ago you had someone who couldn't stand your guts. What? Hated the very ground you walked on.
Why?
All of a sudden now flips the script, is wearing your jersey on your team, and has a starting spot.
Are you retarded?
Well, that's what happened on day one, night one of the RNC convention in Milwaukee.
Fuck.
2 words. Amber Rose.
What the hell's going on out here?
I'm Jasper Gonzo, and this, oh yeah, this is going to be interesting.
Ooh. Yeah.
And it's what's next. What's up, everyone? Jasper Gonzo, what's next? Your daily dose. Hope you guys are feeling good today on this Wednesday hump day. Well, if the last 48 hours have shown anything, have proven anything, is that there can be civil disagreements between factions, can't there? You know, you have disagreements in your family, you have disagreements among friends, you have disagreements among coworkers. But when it comes to parties, Democrats and Republicans, well, the disagreements can run deep. They can be outright grudges. Now, what do I mean by that? 2 words. Amber Rose. Now, if you don't know who Amber Rose is a quote-unquote model who was famously known amongst things like the slut walk, her encounters with multiple rappers, her pro-abortion stance, and she has an OnlyFans account. So if you didn't know, now you know. But anyway, what does that have anything to do with what went on at the RNC on night one, day one? Well, it turns out she had a primetime spot. Several months ago, she couldn't stand the actual very ground that Donald Trump walked on. All of a sudden, she had an epiphany. Puts on the jersey, gets on the team, and has a starting position. She has a primetime spot at the RNC on day one. And of course, a lot of people are upset about that. But then you have a lot of people who said, you know what? We welcome her into the faction. Well, everybody and their mother was giving their thoughts about it. And so am I. And here we go. Of course, this comes from night one, day one, and once again, at the RNC convention, Amber Rose, everyone.
But I'm here tonight to tell you, no matter your political background, that the best chance we have to give our babies a better life is to elect Donald Trump President of the United States.
You said babies. Just concentrate on that. That'll be mentioned as well.
And I believe the left-wing propaganda that Donald Trump was a racist. My father said, "No, he's not, Amber. What are you talking about?" And when I insisted, he said, "Prove it." So to prove my father wrong, I did my research and looked into all things Donald Trump. People have to do their research.
Yes,
I watched
people
all
have
the
to do their
rallies.
research.
And I started meeting so many of you, his red hat wearing supporters. And that's when it hit me. These are my people. This is where I belong. You too. I never felt more free and more love for my country than I do now. I want to thank my father, who's in the audience tonight, for opening my eyes. He served over 20 years in the U.S. military. Thank you for your service, Dad. If you're watching this tonight, you know our country is in trouble. Just like me. When you go to the store and buy food for your family, you're shocked. When you fill up your gas tank, you're pissed. I know I am.
Are you? Are you now?
And when you turn on the news, you are just exhausted. Inflation is out of control. And you
True.
know in your heart it was not like this under Donald Trump.
True.
When you cut through the lies, you realize the truth. American families were better when Donald Trump was president.
True. Now let me do this. Let me do this. Okay, no, it's just about end.
We were safer,
Sorry.
wealthier, and stronger. A vote for Donald Trump is a vote to put money back in our pockets and good food on our kids' plates. Yes. Or, as Trump would say, it's a vote to make America great again. Thank you so much.
Okay. Now we go from that to this. I'm going to edit this video down to try to cut it down. I don't want this thing to be all day. But anyway, Matt Walsh. If you don't know who Matt Walsh is, he is a conservative podcaster. And of course, he is from the Daily Wire. Of course, Ben Shapiro, Andrew Klavan, Matt Knowles. But Matt Walsh had a differing of opinion, shall we say. Initial comments. Trump has just reached mythic status by defying death and surviving an assassination attempt at the GOP and the GOP decides the best next move is to have him sit and listen to a, quote, porn star talk about diversity. Brilliant move. Thanks, guys. Now, that comment stirred up a hornet's nest. And what it did was get a lot of people ticked off. So you go from that. He makes this comment. Excuse me. You guys can get mad at me for saying it, but on the first day of the convention was totally absurd and a very bad omen for things to come. Trump has never had more momentum or goodwill, and the RNC decides to use that to push a message of diversity and inclusivity rather than using, let me get the full message out, rather than using it to advance anything resembling a conservative agenda. I call it as I see it, and that's what I saw. And of course, you had people chiming in. Zeke Arnhem, Matt, this is the RNC, not an altar call. We need to be recruiting people and talking about them on their level, not wagging a finger at them and turning up our noses. Your way isn't working. I honestly don't think it ever has. Cat turd. We're not mad at you. We're laughing at you because you morphed into Mitt Romney. Ouch. Conservative ant. If you only want Christians to be conservatives, then we will never win another election. D-Day Cobra. That's Jeremy. Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers. Your way of thinking is why conservatives have lost so many times. Most people are laughing at you. You're the same person who thought DeSantis was actually going to beat Trump in the primaries. Melanie Mack. You are right. Stand your ground. Degeneracy and DEI own the libs. Absurd. Jenna Ellis. Former Trump associate. You're missing the point, and that is Trump's message. He's pushing this. Another, Vince Langham. We had the most iconic moment in the history of the Republican Party at the RNC last night, but Matt is crying about DEI. This has to be the worst political take in history. My thoughts. I just threw that in right at the very tail end, and I'll just leave that at the very end. But, anywho, the whole situation with Amber Rose has just blown up in conservative circles. You have those for, those against. My opinion is that I understand both sides. I do. I understand both sides. On the one hand, you want as many people you can get under the umbrella as humanly possible. You know what? Doesn't matter. Gay, straight, different religions, what have you. You just, everybody, the Republican Party, the GOP has a big tent. Everybody is welcome. That's fine, as long as everybody's on the same page. But in this situation, they're not. On the other hand, I can totally understand where Matt Walsh is coming from. The fact of the matter is that when you have someone who, as I said in my intro, just a few months ago, could not stand the very ground that Donald Trump walked on, all of a sudden now puts on the jersey and now is talking in front of a Republican crowd. Now, for those who don't know her history, Amber Rose has, between slut walk, between the rapper situation, between her pro-abortion stance, between the only account, these things haven't changed. These things have not changed. She has not, as far as I know, has not denounced being pro-abortion. She has not denounced it. She has not shut down her account. It turns out that from what I read just before doing this video, that she has got a 50% off. But there's that. But like I said, I can understand both sides, but we cannot pander to our own the way the left does. We can't. It's great that her father served in the military and served with honor. That's great. Thank you for your service. But on the other hand, if you just say, hey, I'm for Donald Trump. Hey, I can understand why, hey, food prices are high. True. Gas prices are high. True. But guess what? You being a millionaire, you don't have that problem. Those of us who don't make that kind of money have that problem. We actually live in the real world, Amber. You don't. You live in Hollywood. You live in the lap of luxury. No pun intended. But, anywho, I had to give my thoughts. I understand both sides, but I am kind of leaning with Matt Walsh only because of, we can't play the diversity and inclusion game. We can't play that. The left loves playing that. They will pander to anybody. Biden just pandered the other day in front of the NAACP, pandering, and more pandering. Why? Because I need the votes, because he knows he could lose in November. But with this, yeah, are there winners and losers? Yeah. But on this, I will side with Matt Walsh. That's just me. And with that being said, I'm Jazz Berganzo. This is What's Next. Want to see more like this? Please have a comment below. Like it, share, subscribe to it, hit that notification bell so you guys never miss a thing. Continue spreading the word about the show. Glad having you watch. And we'll see you next time. Peace.